Alrighty, you guys, here we go. King Kyrie back. It's been a while, but what I've got here are a couple of duels. And as you can see, I won some, lost some. I'm just going to show you real quick. I think it was, yeah, it's these two here, these two duels here. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you. I'm gonna press play, right? So as you can see from the little note, it's Luna Light. And anyone who knows anything about Liger Dancer is immune to anything but its own archetypes effect. So you see the hand that I got right here? I didn't know I was up against Lunalight until they started playing their cards. And I was like, okay. And so while this is happening, I go to dual screen mode and I look and I see what affects Liger Dancer's, what affects it. Nothing does. So I look at my hand, I think about what's about to happen, and I think about the time that I'm going to waste watching them summon two Liger Dancers, and I decide that I'm just not going to do that. So they're doing all of this stuff while I'm looking up stuff, and I keep trying to figure out if anything that I have is going to do anything, and add to the fact that my hand really isn't that great. I have a lot of cards that need to be discarded in order to get my stuff off. So I could wait and chance it to see if I draw something worth a damn. But I'm like, no, I don't want to sit here and watch this. And I finished at this point looking up stuff and I played the odds and I was like, you know what? Bump this. I quit. So he's going to do something and it's going to just, yep, just like that. I'm the kind of person that understands that this game is nothing but pixels. My time is more valuable than sitting here watching someone put together a board that I can't get over. And so now, literally the next duel afterwards, I get to play, and this time I get to go first. I think I go first. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I go first. Yeah. So I'm going first, right? And I'm like, this is a pretty decent hand. Let's see what I can do. And I'm wondering if they can do anything, if they can stop this. If they can't stop this, then I'm in pretty decent shape. So I'm doing all of this, trying to get everything that I possibly can off, right? I think this is the right duel. Maybe. Because I summon this guy and I activate this. Yep, and I summon her and then he quits. Or does he? Yeah, okay, I was about to say. I respect that. You know why? It's just like me, my time is really, really valuable. They understand that too. If you're going up against somebody in Master Duel, and I get it, the pixels, it's like an addiction. It's a rush that you get whenever you play to the end and you see the little thing pop up and you get all the points, and then your little meter goes up and you potentially get some experience even if you lose. Is your time really worth all that? I mean, if you think it is, then fine, by all means. But I don't think my time is worth all that, and neither did this guy. So he and I were like, he's in a pod. I never saw him again. And then you have the Luna Light Tiger Dancer person. Yeah, same difference. So I respect people that surrender because I will surrender because I don't have time for that. Now, this loss up here, you might think I'm crazy, but I gave Yu-Gi-Oh a huge hiatus. And during that time, I missed a lot of meta decks. So I don't really know what Sprite does. I don't know what their cards do, and they go first. So this deck that I'm playing with it wants to go first nearly 80 to 90% of the time. There are some instances where I can go second, and I may like to go second depending on what I'm going up against. But Sprite, they're doing all this stuff, and I'm literally scratching my head. I have no idea. So I get up from my computer and I go and get a payday. My grandmother bought me a payday, so I'm over here, go get my phone, come back. He's still doing stuff, and I'm looking at my hands, and I'm like, okay, lots and stuff's going on, and I have no idea what's happening. So they're doing stuff. I'm just sitting here, and I literally, I don't know if you can hear this, but that's the wrapper for the payday, and I'm like, okay, so I know he's got some interruptions, and I know he probably has some back row. So my thing is, let's go ahead and bait that shit out. Nothing's happening, and I know that he needs his back row, so let's go ahead and start baiting stuff out. And again, nothing. And so, also, by the way, I like to do this. So you saw how I did a whole bunch of stuff that was like ice barrier related, but I have the place to also do my Mermail Atlantean stuff. I do that all the time to throw people off. And y'all didn't see it because it just sped through it. But when I played Mermail Shadow Squad, it took him forever to respond because I guarantee he was like, "What the hell just happened?" It went from Ice Barrier to Mermail Atlantean in the blink of an eye for him, and he was like, "Okay." So it finally starts doing stuff, and so I'm doing stuff, and he's letting my stuff go off, and I'm just over here. Then he finally starts doing stuff, and he shuts down well, he's about to shut down my Mermail Atlantean plays, but I still have my Ice Barrier stuff. And so I'm thinking, let's start doing all of this stuff. And I didn't realize, he had that in the back row. Even so, I still have a lot of stuff that I can do with what I have. He just had too much interaction. And because I don't know what Sprite does, I didn't know what was coming. So yeah, like that card, I could have read what it did. Unfortunately, I went to go get my payday. So I didn't know that he was going to end up snatching my monster permanently. So it's my turn, as you can see, doing all this extra stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, how is this going to end? He goes to battle phase and starts doing all this stuff. I'm like, okay, and then what's this? Oh, there we go. And could I have surrendered? Yes. But at this point, I had already lost, and I was going, I might as well just sit here and watch. And then there we go. I lose. So I was confused that entire duel. But something else I want to point out. The deck that I'm using. It has legs, y'all. Y'all just saw what I just did. How many interruptions did I go through, and I still managed to end with two monsters on board? Were they the best monsters? No, but I didn't. I also had a hand too, a hand that if I had kept a monster on field or drew into a water monster, I would have been able to go off and continue my plays. So the deck has legs if you have the ability to play through your opponent's bullshit. I just didn't have that opportunity. But that was that duel. Let's see. Yeah, Sprite. So here we go. Details. Delete. And now everything else is a win. Some of them were first turn, some of them were second turn. This Archfiend player, I guess, didn't know what I was playing or how to counter me because I was confused the entire duel. He goes first, and I keep saying he. I'm sorry. They go first. Um, and this particular hand is not the best. It's not the worst either, but it's not the best. But I realize they're playing Archfiend, and I know that Archfiend likes to exhaust their hand. Fortunately for me, I have the Ice J Tremora and the General Raiho, so that way I can immediately special him in case they have field effects that require me or require them to discard because they exhaust their hand too much. Because right now he's got two monsters. He's now summoned a third monster. If they all have quick effects and he only has one card in hand, only one of them can do anything. So that's my plan from the get go. And then I draw into my ability to go into my Atlantean plays. I'm like, okay, cool. But then all of a sudden he activates Fiendish, and that's the thing. He activated Fiendish Chain on his monster. And I don't know why. I have no idea. So I was under the assumption that this was perhaps a bot. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't get it. I don't understand what happened or how or why this person chose to do what they did, but they locked this monster for the entire duel. Because now that I know that that thing is Fiendish Chain, touching that. Doing that. And then he goes activates that, and I'm like, okay, so I don't do that. But I mean at that point it's pretty much over. I know it's over. He don't know it's over. I know it's over. Because now I'm able to get freezing curses. Anyone who is familiar with freezing curses, hold on for a minute, because yeah, he summoned himself. I'm sorry, wins over Ice Barrier. My bad. Wins over Ice Barrier. I get to sack off these two if I so choose, along with any other Ice Barrier to special summon others from deck, and he has nothing to stop me because he's got no hand. Game's over. And so I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm toying with him at this point because I could have done more. I just chose not to, and I'm just over here just cheesing. I also thought that for whatever reason I was gonna be able to special summon when I destroyed it, and he special Archfiend back, but it happens during the damage step, and his effect doesn't special anything during the damage step unless he's the thing that gets destroyed. And then when I summon this guy, his monsters aren't able to attack unless they get rid of him. And I don't think he knows that either. And so he's trying to use effects with no hand. He can't, and he can't attack. This at this point, I would have surrendered if I were him, but he didn't. And so now here we go, and that's when he's like, I'm screwed." I mean, to be fair, he was screwed when he exhausted his hand, but he didn't know that. Yeah, so which one was that? Where it was the art screen? Yeah, that was this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. And I'm sorry for doing this during the thing, but I'm super OCD. This one was a fun duel. I love this one. Let me show you this one because I thought I was so boned and I was going to surrender. Something told me not to. I was going to surrender, but this was a really fun duel. And as you saw, I won. And fortunately, I was able to go first because it is a trap heavy deck. What is it that called? The one with the lady, the what is the thing called? It's not trap tricks. What's the other one? God, it's gonna labyrinth. There we go. God, I hate that deck. I hate the trap decks in general, except for Alter Guys because I run that one. So there's a little bit of bias there. But yeah, no, I was so elated when I was able to win this one. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck him over by, locking out spells, right? And then he fucking starts with the ice, with the labyrinth stuff, and I'm like, oh. So I summoned this chick for no reason. So yeah, this is like standard plays, and I ended up locking myself out, and I was like, oh, well that was dumb. And then he summons that, and I'm like, oh, I'm really in trouble. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and special something. And then he's like, nah, Dominus. Fortunately for me, Lantian gets the effect twice per turn. But he decided not to do stuff. And then he's like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to summon something. And then I'm like, Lancia, summon, defense mode. And then he destroys Georgius, whatever, relatively quickly before I could get his effect off. But they definitely need their monster effects engraved. And I didn't realize that this chick here has the effect when a normal trap is activated. But it is what it is. I had to stop that from happening. Like I had no choice. And then summoning that was honestly a mistake. I should have tried to summon this one first. And so this is the part where I was like, I probably should quit, but something in me was like, nah, let's just keep it going because I know what this is, and I know that he can't do anything because I don't have two monsters in the grave of the same type. So now, like he's doing stuff. I'm like, okay, that's so cool, and I know he's got stuff that's banished. So here I go, and now here I go with my Atlantean Mermail stuff. So ice barriers are terrible against Labyrinth. Mermail, not so much. And I don't know why, like, I don't know what it is about Mermail Atlantean, but they just don't care about traps. I guess because they get all their effects when they're discarded. So if this was a grave heavy, then I would be up a creek, but it's not. And this is where he gets boned. Now, I don't have another ice barrier on the field, so his effect isn't activated. But something's going to happen where he screws up big time, and I forgot what it was. Oh no, I guess I just fuck him up. Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, no, he doesn't make a mistake. I just have the advantage, and then I get rid of his ladies. And of course, I'm not going to activate Adamantipator because this doesn't do anything without a labyrinth doing something. Me Starboy. And so he does this right, and so he gets rid of me Starboy. Which okay, cool. But I personally would have waited for me to summon like a spellcaster or a sea serpent to get rid of my Atlantean stuff or my ice barrier stuff. Like I get it, you wanted to try and win or try and get to the next turn, but knowing what you have in your hand, knowing what I have engraved, I don't understand why you would do that. Yeah, so to me, it didn't make sense for him to activate that at that point. He should have just accepted his loss because there was no way for him to get around anything. And so battle phase, I win. I was so happy that I was able to come back from that because God, I hate Labyrinth. I hate Labyrinth. But that's also a good reason why you shouldn't give up at the same time. But that's only when you're in the thick of it. Because I was in the thick of it. Had I gotten shut out from the very beginning, I would have surrendered. This is Cool Tune, and one of the reasons why I never saw, I guess, the danger of Cool Tune. And I'm going to pause it and I'm going to explain why. So well, let me speed it up when we come back. But Cool Tune, y'all. They have a lot of effects that activate Engrave. They have a lot of effects that require like your opponents to do something like that level 7 synchro, the whole activate if card effect and chain effect and whatever the bullshit. So there's a lot of stuff that requires to happen on field or engrave. If you are paying attention, ice barriers can shut off the grave. Ice barriers can shut off spells. Like I have her right here. Spellbreaker can shut off spells. Granted, you don't want to open with her, but at the same time, if you do, and she happens to be a normal summon, as you can see, I have a special summon in this. I can pitch this or this to get other plays to go off. So I can go either my mermail route or my ice barrier route with these two cards in my hand. So I'm feeling that I'm pretty confident and I'm sitting pretty. Unfortunately, I'm going second, and at this point, I don't know what he's playing. So let's see what he does. Because I find out he's Cool Tune on my turn. So okay, so that's what happens. If you are playing meta, you run the risk of building a deck that somebody else put together and you're just following it. You saw a YouTube video and you said, you know what, I'm gonna build the same deck. This guy has like a bunch of hand traps right now and 0 1 card starters. Cool Tunes, I guess, have 1 card starters. Personally, because of the decks that I run, I've never really encountered them because I end up shutting off part of their play. Even with my Atlantean Gishki Mermail deck that I run, the Gishki Neramanis negates effects of monsters and returns them from field, hand, or grave back to the deck. Cool Tune can't afford that. So if a Cool Tune activates effect in grave and Neramanis is on field, and you negate that and return that monster back to the deck, and they can't bring it out, you just screwed up everything for them. Like they need their monsters in grave or in hand or on field in order to synchro. Even if you negate them, they can still be used for materials later on. But if you negate them and put them back in deck, it's over for them. And so the decks that I happen to run just happen to shit on Cool Tune. And that's why I've never seen them as a problem. I guess if you're running meta versus meta, they will be, but for me, it was never an issue. And so when people are like, "Oh, Cool Tune have to go," and I'm like, kind of, maybe not really. But I'm doing all of this right now. I still don't know what this person has, but they have hand traps, and so I'm trying to figure out why they're not doing so like that. Like they let me use the medallion. And personally, between the Atlantean and the ice barrier against Cool Tune, you want to stop the ice barrier. If you are playing against an ice barrier player and you're Cool Tune, you want to stop their ice barrier shit from happening because they have cards that negate your entire fucking deck. Like he wanted to use this thing's effect in grave. Let me see this one here, and he couldn't blah, because I had this on field. But for whatever reason, he chose not to use Ash on the medallion, but instead on the Mermail Atlantean, and realized a little too late that he can't use spells because of Spellbreaker. It was over, and I was so shocked at that. Like he built a deck, or they built a deck that had a shit ton of hand traps that didn't do shit to me. Mm. I don't know. If you don't like Cool Tune, might I suggest you look at anti-meta or rogue or something else because y'all falling for these same capitalism traps that everyone else falls for, building the quote unquote best deck and hope that you can bully people into losing. To me, that's boring. That's why I build decks that I feel are unconventional. Are they partially meta? Kinda, sorta. I do have anti-meta or meta traps like Dark Ruler No More, Impulse, things like that. But for the most part, I don't think Mermail Atlantean are meta, and I don't think Ice Barrier are meta, and Ice Jade for damn sure aren't meta. So I don't know. This one is, I think, Dragon Maid. I go first. And just like with everything else, ooh, that's why I saved this one. I took the Maxi challenge. I was like, fuck it. Let me go ahead and speed this up. Because I was like, you know what? I don't care. At this point, I just don't care. So let's go ahead and see what they have. I was confident that I was going to be able to summon Spellbreaker and turn off their ability to activate spells. So I was like, let's see where this leads. So they have all that hand advantage. And I'm like, okay, they could evenly, and if they evenly, they deserve to win. They don't have that. So they start doing all this stuff. And the problem is, people don't realize that this here is a lingering effect. So even if you negate it, if she chains and she's the second one and it goes off, her effect goes through, then it's negated, but it's a lingering effect's already been activated. So all of my monsters are currently safe from being destroyed or banished. Now, pause. He just used the Fallen of Albaz on, where's my monster? On this one, which he had already negated. On Gamir, he had already negated her, and she was pretty much just a beat stick. Why would you do that knowing you need your graveyard and knowing you need to activate monster effects on field? This is my huge problem with people that are meta only player. They don't know the history of the game, they don't know the order of operations, they don't know how to play. If you aren't familiar with the mechanics of the game and how the game works, you can be a meta player all you want, but you're always going to lose because you don't know how to play the game. And that's exactly what this person did. Because not only did he go after the wrong monster, he's playing a banish heavy deck. And he didn't read her. So here she has a second effect. If a card is banished by your opponent's card effect, while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon it. So he used the Fallen of Albaz to get rid of a card that had no effect, right? With a deck that he uses that banishes like a motherfucker. He couldn't have read her. He couldn't have read her. And now he has no monster effects in grave. And anytime he activates a monster effect on field, he has to discard a card. And that's gonna bite him in the ass. That Maxi challenge, definitely worth it. Ooh, I totally forgot. He summons this guy, right? When this effect goes off, it says you have to banish one card. So you activate his effect. Once you activate his effect, you have to banish an appropriate target. My monsters cannot be banished. So the only option he has is to banish his own shit. And because he sent something to grave, he was hoping to get this effect off. But nah, look who's on field. Nah, you're not getting that effect. He did not read. Whoever this is was not reading my cards. So look at all this stuff, and he chooses to negate, and it goes after the wrong monsters. Well, technically not really, but it's too late. And then he gets this, and I'm like, okay, what is that? And I just shake my head. I'm like, okay, nothing. It's nothing. It's so frustrating. I'm sorry. Like I'm over here exasperated because I was so shocked at how little this person read. Like they actually had a good chance at beating me, but they went after the wrong stuff. And now he's just let me go off because for whatever reason, I'm not sure what these are in the back, but it doesn't matter. I'm about to blow his back out. And he realized, yep, good game. Bye y'all. Oh god, that was something. Like the entire time I was playing this person, I was just shaking my head. I was so I was so disappointed in whoever I was playing. Like I was literally at my computer waiting. And that's another thing. Y'all don't see how long it took between each thing. So I say he wasn't reading or they weren't reading. They may have been. They may just have missed some stuff because it took them forever to decide what to do. I'm going to show you this one last, but this one here, I forgot what this one was because I don't think it lasted very long. And I don't know if I went first or if they went first. I think they went first on this one. Let me see. No, no, no. I went first, and all I did, all I did watch, and I respect this too. So I'm like, okay, my turn. I'm gonna summon, and then that was it. It was like, oh no, and they didn't want to see it, so like, I'm out. And I don't know why. I don't know what they were playing, and then it shows. I guess it was Tearlament, or I don't know what this was, but they weren't trying to watch me build a board where they couldn't get over it. So yeah, let me go ahead and I'm gonna do this one. Let's see, let's see, let's see. So yeah, this is the one where they went first, and I'm looking at my hand and I'm like, okay, I have both my plays. I'm ready to do. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Oh, I remember this one. So pause. Hold on for a minute. Okay, I need this out of the way. Okay, you see this right here? You see, follow along with my pointer. If this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, destroy all monsters you control. You read that. I read it out loud. You can read it again. That's important, y'all. So I'm just gonna sit here and watch, and I'm not gonna say a word. Oh, I fucking lied. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't gonna say a word. Here's the thing, y'all. Their effects to activate their effects, that send is a cost. So even if the effect is negated, they can still do it. The same thing with the Spellbreaker or the other one from the ice barriers. If you negate the effect, they can still discard or send to activate. That's very important to understand because what I'm about to summon to my side of the field, his Valor could have been used in a much wiser way. Okay, see, look, okay, look. There we go, right? Why would you do that? Why would you? I don't know if he thought that. See, here's the thing: the moment this thing lands on the field, and this is what I'm talking about. But if you don't understand the game and how the game works, you're not a good Yu-Gi-Oh player, and you never will be. I think this person was under the impression that he could use his monster's effect, summon this monster here real quick, and then use his effect. No, the moment this thing shows up, dead. If you don't bother to learn the mechanics of the game, it doesn't matter which deck you're using, you are not going to be able to go very far. And again, why? 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 Do you understand what the. Okay, here's the thing. If this face-up synchro summon card, its owner's control leaves the field by an opponent's card, you can special summon one Ice Barrier Synchro monster from your extra deck, and this is treated as a synchro summon. Okay, what could I possibly summon that could fuck him up in the middle of the battle phase? This. Good game. Like, there was no coming back from that. He went first, y'all. He went first. He went first. This person went first with a blue eyes deck. The blue eyes going first is like supposed to be a guaranteed win. And I get it. I had Dominus Impulse. But I've Dominus Impulse Blue Eyes players before. If you don't know how to build the deck, I advise you to go and take a look because a Dominus Impulse should not have been able to stop you. At least not at that point. God. And last but not least, you see it's Runic. And when I saw it was Runic, I was like, ugh. I again was close to surrendering because as a former Runic player myself, I was like, do I really want to waste my time with this? And they were going first, by the way. Yeah. So I was like, this hand isn't bad. It ain't good, but it ain't bad. And so, and I was like, okay, Morganite. So he must be doing something fuck anti-meta shit. And I'm like, oh, here we go, Runic. And I was like, he's gonna summon, add the field spell. And then I'm like, okay, he's gonna activate and he's gonna pass turn. When he set and didn't activate the field spell, that was why I decided to stay and see what he was working with because I and then he did that shit with you see how she made a noise? I guess he wanted me to hurry up because I literally was confused scratching my head and then my card I did the whole draw face thing and the card was just floating there and I was like, okay, what could he possibly have in the runic deck? Because he could activate that card that activates a spell a field spell directly from deck. He could have that. So I'm like, okay, how do I want to go about this? So we did that whole little thing where he made her talk. I was like, fuck it, let's just go. And he's not letting anything slide. And so I know Runic. Runic can't afford to have their shit banished. And so that's why I'm like, oh, we're doing this. And then he ac- he activates this, right? Levels 6 or higher special and monsters on the field cannot declare attacks, nor can players activate their effects. Okay, cool. If you know I added a level 5 monster to my hand that banishes all spells and traps that are activated on field, I don't understand why you would activate that preemptively, knowing that this here is just going to run that over, and then I have the ability to summon other things. Uh, Anyway, again, it's all about the whole mechanics, whether or not they know how to play the game. And I guess I was battling people that didn't. And so now, even if he tried to do the whole rooting shit, next turn, he ain't gonna be able to get to. So I just attacked, and I'm like, okay, let's see what he does, because he can't activate any of his spell cards. So he had Morganite activated. Cool, he draws 2 cards, and I think he scoops here because he's like, yeah, I can't do anything. And so this is why I run me Starboy. And I also run it because of Luna Tiger, whatever. Adding 500 attack to my monsters can, especially if Cheng Ying's available, is just an easy way of getting over Luna Tiger. But yeah, I feel like I battled a lot of people that just weren't thinking. Maybe they were bots, but I feel like I battled a lot of people that just didn't put in the effort to understand the mechanics of the game. I don't know. You tell me, do you think I messed up in some of the ones that I lost? What thing would you have done? Because for me, I was flabbergasted. And I did all of these literally today, back to back to back. There are some that I didn't even bother saving because it was one of those things where I activate a card, like you saw with Spellbreaker, and they just fold. And there are others where it was just a blowout where I'm just sitting there and I'm getting burn damage before it's even my turn. I'm not going to show you guys me sitting there getting burned and I just surrender. Like that, there's no point in that. But fact of the matter is, this game has evolved into pretty much who can bully the other person to not playing. And so it is what it is. Key Kyrie is out. Y'all, if you're going to build a deck, that's fine. Build whatever deck you want to build, but make sure you understand the mechanics of the game and how that deck interacts with other decks. It's a lot of work, and that's the thing. Yu-Gi-Oh is a hobby. Hobbies can sometimes be a lot of work. If you're not willing to put in the work, then what's the point? What's the point? Okay, I don't get that. I don't. Peace out for now.